Welcome to Charter Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance in the Inland Empire today, and we are joined again by May Davis. She is the genius behind the Asian Pacific Cultural Association's Lunar Fest, the 6th annual I Remember You When. This is your brainchild. This is your baby.
It is my baby. Explain
the beginnings of this beast that has become a beautiful dragon.
Do we have a lot of time?
We do.
No, actually, I started this because I wanted to teach my kids how and why they came about.
Right.
As far as their ancestors, their culture, their family background. Because growing up, I grew up in America with an American family. I was adopted as a baby.
And was your American family of Asian descent?
No.
Got it.
No, in fact, he's a Caucasian military man in the Navy. And now I take that back. My adopted mother, she is from Taiwan as well. But when we came to the States, it's you learn Chinese, or excuse me, you learn English.
I understand.
You grow up the American way. This is what you do.
No, I understand. So you had an adopted mother of Asian descent. And it's interesting, in your family, your husband is of Anglo descent.
Yes.
And so it's, it's a similar...
We're opposite,
yeah,
yes.
but it's a similar background. And so I honor you for wanting to give your children, who happen to be genetic, not that that matters per se, but your children, that history, that background.
Well, as the kids got older, trying to explain it to them, and it just went in one ear out the other.
Right.
They just didn't seem to really care.
I understand.
And when kids in school, they learn it from a book, they learn it from TV, and most of it's all stereotype.
And let's face it, in America, our history is Eurocentric. It's just undeniable.
It is.
And to the extent we learn about Asia,
it's what they want you to know.
Yeah, and it tends to be, not necessarily positive. Pearl Harbor, Chinese communism, it can be tricky.
The internment camps.
The internment camps,
right.
Yeah, it can be tricky.
Right.
And so, but okay, it's one thing to want to teach your children about Asian culture. It's another thing to launch a huge, the pinnacle of Lunar Fest in the Inland Empire.
Well, I told my husband, I said, this is what I want to do. And he just kind of looked at me funny and said, what? Why?
And I would be remiss to not mention your husband is Paul Davis.
Yes.
Who was he on the city council of Riverside yet?
Not yet.
So yeah, so in the middle of him deciding to run for city council, you told him you want to do this.
Yes. And then as time progressed, he finally got elected, and then we were able to continue on with recruiting the committee.
Right.
And
but you launched this before he was elected, correct?
No.
So
no, it was all in the works while he was still...
I see.
Yes, while he was still campaigning, it was still in the works. So
you're running a campaign and you're launching a massive party.
Yes, basically.
So tell us about the event, what it is for our viewers throughout the Inland Empire and statewide.
Well, the event is become massive.
Right.
When we started this, it was meant to be just a few cultural exhibits and then a little children's village and a little parade. And it turned out to be, our first year turned out to be like 20,000 people.
And so you have multiple events, and you've done this from the beginning.
Yes.
You have a gala, which is the week before the kind of open main event. Tell us about the gala. This year, by the way, it's January 23rd.
Right.
And so if you're interested in a really phenomenal extravaganza, I urge you to go to the website, which is, by the way...
It's lunarfestriverside.org.
Yeah, it's a really well-organized event. Tell us about the gala.
The gala happens to be on a line of a Chinese wedding style banquet. So if you're familiar with any type of the Chinese culture, when you gather with family and friends, it's courses after courses after
I love
courses.
That, right.
It's 10 courses of food that night.
Sounds
in addition to all the things that we do to teach and entertain, as well as give out our humanitarian award.
Right. Do we know who the honoree is yet?
We do, yes. And she
Can you
knows,
announce?
so we can announce. It would be Marilyn Jacobson.
Tell us about Marilyn.
Oh my gosh, Marilyn has been in this city for a long, long time. She helped gather the Sister Cities organization.
Of course.
Back when Dwight Eisenhower was getting all this involved. She helped in she started the international program over at RCC over 25 years ago.
And I think about Riverside and its sister cities with some in Asia. There's Sendai in Japan, Kanto in Vietnam. Is there one in China?
There is a Xiamen, China.
Okay.
And then there's one in Hyderabad, India.
Right.
And then there's Gangnam, Korea.
So
yes, we have several sister cities in Asia.
Wonderful. Okay, so the gala is just like what I said it was, a huge extravaganza.
Oh, it's massive.
And so then, though, is...
the gala is to help us raise funds for the Lunar Festival.
Right.
And in order for us to put on this extravagant event the following week, it takes funding.
Of course.
And then also we're working on the new cultural center. So that too is...
And I want to talk about that after you tell us about this year's Lunar Fest, which is January 30th.
Yes.
9 hours, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. In downtown Riverside at the Mission Inn, the historic Mission Inn, and that neighborhood.
Well, in the entire corridor, and this year we've actually expanded it from the freeway of Mission Inn all the way to Market, where the Fox Theater is. Which
is a beautiful area. I mean, if you haven't been to historic Riverside downtown, you should definitely go. This is a great time. Tell us about the 9 hours. in 9 seconds or less.
No, really, it takes us longer than 9 hours. But you have the parade in the morning, then with live firecrackers, and then you have performances throughout the entire day on 3 separate stages. We have a children's village. We have the TV pavilions. We have...
Here, look, you're allowed.
Oh my gosh, I mean,
you're allowed.
Look how many things are on here. We have the lions and dragons, no bears, but we do have a lot of, of entertainment going throughout the day. Martial arts groups, the health expo, you know, trying to show people the differences.
And of course, this Lunar Fest is for people of all ethnicities.
Everyone is welcome.
I mean, undeniable. Yes. And I think in a lot of ways, those that may not be of Asian descent would really benefit from this. I mean, everyone will. But what a wonderful way to learn more about cultures. Let's talk about your cultural center, your proposed cultural center.
Our proposed
Tell
cultural
us all about
center. We're looking to have the resources available to everyone and anyone who needs it. So whether it be family, whether it be business, whether it be medical, whether it be governmental policies, if it has to do with documents for whatever the case might be.
Targeting Asian Americans?
Targeting Asian Americans of all different nationalities, and giving them a place where they can feel comfortable going. Because a lot of times when they come to the States, if they're not familiar and they don't see people of their own, they kind of shy away.
And they maybe come from oppressive governments, and so they don't know if they want to deal with government. You can help ease that transition. Right, exactly.
We're not government.
But you help ease that transition.
Yes, yes, and we'll be able to give them that the resources, because a lot of people in our community, they don't reach out.
Right.
So we give them that ability to have it.
And you're looking to open the facility in Riverside, but you want to serve the entire Inland Empire.
Yes, that's correct.
And with over 4 million people, there's no doubt that a service like yours would be invaluable.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah, and so what happens now? What's next on the cultural center front?
Well, funding is very important.
So you raise money.
We raise money, and we continue to raise money until we find a location that is suitable, easy access for people to go to, and be able to house as many as we can.
So what do your kids think now? They're 20 and 18. Back then they were 14 and 12 or whatever it was.
They were struggling back then. Why do I have to do this?
So what do they think?
Now it's kind of like, okay, Mom, what do you need me to do?
Is there a sense of pride in their Asianness, their Americanness, their hybridness?
Wasians. We call them Wasians.
But do they have that sense of pride?
I think
in
so.
all very portions of their...
As much as they hate to admit it, I believe they do.
Her name is May Davis. She is the genius behind the Lunar Fest here in Riverside on January 30th, 2016. I'm Brad Pomerance. It's Charter Local Edition.